Assalamualaikum friends, welcome back to our channel once again. Today we are extremely delighted that we are hosting another IELTS expert, Miss Rukhsar Sayyed, living in UAE, basically an Indian. Hi Rukhsar, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing absolutely good. First of all, a big thanks to you for joining our podium today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let me inform the viewers that Ms. Rukhsar will be talking about top 5 tips for IELTS writing task. So over to you, Rukhsar.
Yes. So today I would like to share some few tips, that is top 5 tips on IELTS writing module, which will be very helpful. First, we need to understand. The first one is understand. Understand means you have to understand the question. While understanding the question, we will get to know what the examiner is expecting from us, what the examiner is expecting, in which way we have to respond to the question, and as the question types. For example, the IELTS task 2 questions are of many types. The first one will be the discussion type, second will be the cause and effect, or the cause and effect, or descriptive, or problem solution, or agree disagree, opinion or suggestion. So first we need to understand which types of questions are there, and then we have to respond to the question in the same manner. So the very first step, as I said, again I'll say, is to understand the question properly, then in the same manner we have to answer them. The second tip which I'll present is to answer in a structured way. For example, in the essay, in the task 1, that is for academic task 1, we have to give the details in a report form for the task 1 answer. And in general module, we have to write a letter. So for these answers, we need to know the perfect structure, the phrases, what we need to use. And the same goes for task 2, that is the essay in 250 words, where we have to allot our 40 minutes. And that also, I also always guide my students to write the essay in a structured way. For example, there are phrases like time fixers, generalizations, and there are different phrases for different kinds of essays. So we need to organize them properly. We need to organize them in a proper structured way, so that our ideas which we are conveying, it should be in a structured manner. It should be conveyed in a more systematic way, so that the examiner can get what our point is. The examiner can be easily able to understand what we are exhibiting, how we are exhibiting our creativity in our writing skills. The third tip, which I will say, is don't repeat the words, instead paraphrase. Now, what's the meaning of paraphrase? That we are making the language, we are writing our thoughts and ideas in our own words, we are expressing in our own words, and we have to use more and more synonyms. Our vocab knowledge should be very much strong. So while preparing for the IELTS test, for preparing for the IELTS writing module, we have to see to it that our vocab practice should be good. We have to practice at least 20 words, 20 new words daily for the IELTS writing module. And for that, we have to read more and more books. We have to read more and more journals. We have to read more and more newspapers in order to get used to that kind of language. Because IELTS English level, the language proficiency which they test is for very higher level. So we have to adapt. We have to get used to those kind of language. And we can do that only by reading different kind of books, different kind of informative books, by hearing news, and by hearing news in different accents also. So that's my tip, that we have to learn to paraphrase and avoid making repetition of words, because if the examiner will see that the words are being repeated again and again in the same essay, he will get an idea that the student don't have enough knowledge about the vocabulary, and the student is not well prepared for the grammatically, how they should present the language in a more effective way. So my fourth tip is that we have to make paragraphs. As I said in a structured way earlier in my tip 2, now fourth tip is also connected to it. That is, we have to make paragraphs. Now, many candidates, many IELTS aspirants, they end up writing everything in one single paragraph. Even for task 1, either you write a letter or you write a report. or you describe a thing which is given in a question, you have to learn to make different paragraphs, because while doing so, you will organize your thoughts more in a much more clear manner and use certain phrases for it. So in essay also we have to make different paragraphs. For example, the IELTS task 2 essay, it's structured in a way that first will be the introduction, then comes the first paragraph, then comes the second paragraph, and the fourth will be the conclusion. So in this way, we have to make 4 paragraphs for the IELTS task 2 essay. In the same manner, whichever task we write, we have to see to it that we make different paragraphs, and in the same way we convey our ideas in a more organized manner. And the fifth
Mhm.
tip which I'll say is, we have to look into our spelling mistakes and our grammatical errors, that in which tense we are writing and which active or passive voice we are using in writing that. So all the grammatical elements we need to keep in mind while writing it. And you have to practice. For example, the practice is also
Mhm.
very important, because we can develop our writing skills only by practicing. At least we need to practice 10 or 15 essays before giving the IELTS exam, before giving the actual test. So that is the reason why one more tip I present, that is practice. Practice is very important. Without that, we cannot get used to the phrases to use, and the vocabulary which we have to use, or the sentence structure. For example, where we
Mhm.
use the phrases of generalization, where we use the opinion and suggestion phrases. Like I said earlier, also the argumentative essays and the opinion essays are different from each other. And if the examiner is asking you about the or argumentative essays, we have to use the phrases according to that. And if opinion question is being asked, then you have to respond in the same manner by using opinion phrases. And this last thing I would like to add up, the last suggestion which I would like to add up is that we have
Okay.
to, yeah, the last suggestion which I'll add is that while using the phrases, we should use where, for example, first introduction, how we have to start, the second paragraph, how we have to start, by adding more and more examples. This will elaborate the essay, or whichever task you are writing, by giving examples, it will elaborate your answer in a certain manner.
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay, I guess you are done now, right, Ruxar?
yes, yes.
Perfectly fine. So I have three things to inform my viewers about. First of all, Miss, thank you very much, Miss Ruxar, that for the sake of the students to help and guide them properly. We are extremely delighted that experts like you have been, really involved in this. Let me inform our viewers that Miss Ruxar is a well-reputed IELTS instructor in UAE. She also is a blogger. She writes vlogs as well. So, and if anyone is interested, her details are there in the description box. You can contact her directly as well. Lastly, I would definitely like to invite Ms. Rukhsar again on our sessions, either it be like listening, speaking, or maybe reading tips, because people need experts like you and us even to help them and guide them in their IELTS journey. Lastly, a big thanks to you. Thank you very much. You have joined us, Rukhsar.
Yes, it will be a pleasure for me to be on your platform and to share the views. So, yeah, anytime I'll be with you to support the students, the IELTS aspirants who are wishing for to appear in the exam.
Thank you very much. Have a good day ahead, Rukhsar. Bye bye.
Bye.